So I found a gluten-free recipe in a Chatelaine magazine. And this is an old one. This is spring, it's not that old. Spring of 2024. Really? Huh, it's been there for a while. Anyway, so I got it from the library, but it talks about the science of vegan baking. And being a vegan, you don't eat eggs and things like that. So gluten-free along the same lines, right? Gluten-free, flour and eggs and things like that. They are a concern. Okay, so what is this? What is this? Well, this is a whole bunch of recipes. So I was looking for recipes for my couscous, because every day, like, I love couscous, absolutely love it. And using a lot of spices and stuff, it kind of gets bland, it gets boring, right? So I've been looking for like different recipes. Well, I found one tonight. I have a friend who eats gluten-free, and so I'm going to post this particularly for that individual and her family. So I did find something that works. It's a gluten-free recipe, and it's a gluten-free recipe for buns and herb breads and tea biscuits, things like that, right? So what do you use for that type of thing? Well, brown rice flour is gluten-free. There's many types of gluten-free flour, so that's okay. But how do you replace the eggs and the binding ingredients? Well, I make cookies that are non-gluten, and I use chia seeds and sesame seeds and those type of things to bind it together, right? Because when you're using brown rice flour or any gluten-free flour, it doesn't bind together, and so it's hard to make cookies, it's hard to make bread, it's hard to make anything. It just falls apart, especially the crackers that I make, the gluten-free crackers. So I did find a recipe. So I had to fast forward this a couple of days because I was having problems with my battery. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you step by step how I'm going to use the chickpea aquafaba, it's called. It's chickpea water, and you can basically swap out eggs. If you don't have eggs, go get yourself a can of chickpeas. Now, people who are gluten-free and vegan, they use this instead of eating eggs and things like that. So if you don't have an egg and you're making cookies, right, you can opt out to use chickpea water. I never heard of it before. So anyway, it takes three, and I'll mark it below. I might have marked it on the other video that I'm going to attach, but 3 tablespoons of chickpea water will equal 1 egg. Like, can you believe it? Like, 1 egg. And I've got 1 egg left, just one egg left. So I have to go get some more eggs, but 1 egg. And all you need is 3 tablespoons of chickpea water will replace that 1 egg. So I might be utilizing it, because I do want to make some ginger cookies this week. I just want to show you step by step how I do it. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a muffin tin. You're going to need a can opener. I've got 2 muffin tins and a can of chickpeas, and you also need a tablespoon measuring thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up and I'm going to pour it into a measuring cup. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So let's attempt this. Let's see how this goes. Okay, this is just basically how to freeze it, because apparently chickpea water freezes really easy, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to freeze it. So, and what a good thing that it actually is a good thing. It's a good thing to be able to swap it out, because I mean, you know, most of the time when I have chickpeas, I pour the water down the sink and I use the chickpeas. Well, this is a new way to do it. So let's see. It gives a lot of chickpea water. So this has got to be, a lot of okay, so a can of chickpeas, and there's how much I get. That's 2/3 a cup of chickpea water in 1 can of peas. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to use I'm going to try to do it this way. I'm going to try to get more juice out without making a big mess. Yeah, there's still a little bit in there. Okay. Okay, so 2/3 cup of chickpea water. Okay, so I'm just going to spoon out 3 tablespoons in each, and then I'm going to freeze it, and then I'll show you how you take it out. Basically, you just heat the bottom and you take out 1 portion. So, like, you wouldn't need. Normally, if you're doing a recipe using eggs, like for my cookies that I make, the ginger cookies, it takes 1 egg and it takes some butter, right? Well, I'm going to be swapping those things out for the chickpeas. So I would only need like 1 portion, right? I would only need 1 portion because one of these will be basically like 1 egg, right? So I'm going to put 3 tablespoons in each. It's just really simple. Yeah. Well, I want to be able to show you how I'm doing it. So we'll see if I can. You don't need to see me. You need to see what I'm doing. Okay, so there's 3 tablespoons in each of those. So I'm going to fill all 12 of these. All 12 of them. And then I think what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to actually attempt to use one of these. Now this is just simply for baking, right? Like, okay, so I won't get yeah, there's not enough. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 portions where it's actually in replace of 1 egg. But this one here has got like, this is not even a quarter. So basically you would put it in here and then you freeze it, and that's it. So I thought I was going to get enough for all of them, but I just got enough for 5, which is good. So I'm going to lay this flat in my freezer. I'm going to use my fridge freezer and not my chest freezer, so I'm going to put this in the freezer, and I'm not sure how long it takes to freeze. It didn't say how long it takes to freeze in the book. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff in here though. So 3 tablespoons is equal to 1 egg of the chickpea. And you freeze in a muffin pan until solid. All you have to do is run the bottom of the muffin pan under hot water, and then you can remove the portions and put them in a resealable zip top bag and use them as you need it. You would thaw them out in the refrigerator overnight or at room temperature for 1 hour. Isn't that something? So it says, and I had 2/3 of a cup, it says 398 milliliter can of chickpeas yields about 1/2 cup of aquafaba. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about what it says, okay? I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it says. What it says is that aquafaba, the chickpea water, will trap the air, which then expands when heated during baking. So it's called a leavening action. So it's much like eggs, right? It helps baked goods rise and become fluffy. It can even be whipped up like egg whites, making it an excellent choice for recipes that require a light, airy texture, such as meringues, mousses, and macaroons. I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea. It has a very subtle taste, and it's an egg-like viscosity that doesn't alter the flavor or the texture of what it is that you're baking. So it's for baking. Using buttermilk, sour cream, or yogurt in your recipe. You can also use a thing called vegan yogurt. because it has the acidity and the creaminess needed to yield a moist crumb and delicate texture in baked goods. But if you're using vegan yogurt, it doesn't have the natural emulsifiers found in dairy that help make the baked goods extra soft, but it is as close as you can get to a 1-to-1 swap. So if you want to substitute something for a milk substitute, she talks on this article about a barista style oat milk is the best. Has a neutral flavor, and it has a similar texture and fat composition to whole milk. So this article was really, I found this article really interesting because it is talking about vegan cooking. And vegan, to me, vegan and non-gluten are kind of like in the same category, right? So I'm very cautious on the inflammation that from the foods that I eat, and so I'm very cautious with that. So I'm going to try this chickpea stuff. And you know, I can always put these chickpeas in a soup. I can put it in a salad. I even like to eat them just like that in a little bowl. And I'll put some in a little tiny bowl like this, and that would be a snack for me. And I add spices to it, so it's really, really good. So I just wanted to put that out there because some of the recipes I'm finding in these Chatelaine books are amazing. I mean, Texas toast made into a pizza and things like that, right? That's gluten. But this is just a little trick for getting rid of, being able to substitute an egg for chickpea water. I mean, I've never heard of it. The weirdest thing ever, but apparently it works. So we're going to do this right to the end. I'm going to freeze these. I'm going to show you how I take them out after they have been frozen, and then I'm going to whip it up to see if it does have the viscosity that eggs do when you whip up the whites of eggs. I'm going to try that, and I'm going to put it on this channel. I'm also going to cook some ginger cookies. Now I'm not going to do them all. Okay, I'm going to make a small batch of ginger cookies using the chickpea water instead of the eggs, and we're going to see if that works. So I shall see you on the next video, and let's see how these turn out after they're frozen. I will add it to this video. So I'll see you in the next video. The good Lord be willing. Bye-bye. I heated the bottom and I got them out, and I'm going to show you what they look like. Now I'm going to use my fingers because I don't have gloves, but this is basically what they turn out like. They're like little hockey pucks. So I'm going to put them in a freezer bag, and I am going to keep one out. I'm going to keep one out. I'm going to let it thaw because I want to see if I can actually whip it like you would whip an egg white. So I'm going to keep one out. And I'm going to freeze the rest, and that's what I'm going to put on it. So I want to see if this one, I have to thaw it out. Now 3 tablespoons of chickpea water or aquafaba water is equal to 1 egg. So we're going to try that. I don't have a mixer, so I can't show that to you, but I do have a blender. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to thaw it out, and I'm going to try to whip it up. So I've got about, I've got 2 of them. The small one that I had 1/4 of a cup, and then this is 1. This would be the equivalent of 1 egg. So this is about 1.5 eggs, right? I don't know if that's possible, but I'm going to try to whip them both up so that I can see if it actually makes like a meringue. So I'm excited about that. I want to see if it really works. So I'm going to do that shortly. So let's see if it whips. I'm not sure if this is going to work. I have to use my mixer. So I'm going to try my mixer, and we're going to see. Oh my God, it works. Look at it. It works. Oh my God, it works. Yeah. Now, I would have had to leave it whipped longer, but look at That is chickpea water. That's what happens. I'm like shocked. I'm like shocked. It works. It turns into meringue. Like I'm like shocked. I'm like shocked. It turns into meringue. It's wild. That is wild.